Hello, everybody. Tim here, along with Maggie. Say hello, Maggie.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about our top 10 favorite MCU movies. We each have created a top 10 list, and we're just going to go one to one, back and forth, and talk about each of our choices. What?
So,
Oh, no. Keep going.
so what happens if we have an overlapping choice? Do I just say like
Like the top 10 show?
Yeah.
Like punt?
I feel like we probably should punt.
Okay, fine. So we'll copy John Roca and Matt Nost, who are the golden boys of the top 10 universe. So we'll talk about if we both have Guardians of the Galaxy on our list, but mine is higher than hers, then I'll just say save it unless it's really close.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. Because otherwise we're just saying things twice. It's more fun when it's higher up. So.
Sure. Okay, so why don't you kick it off, Maggie? And anyway, this is obviously because Infinity War is coming out on Thursday night.
Really?
/ Friday.
I didn't know that.
We get to see the movie tomorrow, which is very exciting. The reviews have just started to come out. It's like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, which
I just saw Collider called it flawed.
Yes,
and
which
it
is
hurt me on the inside.
Well, no, okay. So I mean, I think that it's fair to. And no movie's perfect. I'm not expecting Infinity War to be a perfect movie. My number one movie on this list isn't perfect.
Yeah.
But I think that it's, if it's an enjoyable movie and it's satisfying as far as what Marvel has set up over the years, that's good. As long as, honestly, to me, as long as Thanos works, that's kind of all I really need. Because, I read I watched a video a couple of days ago where somebody was like, if you would have told me 10 years ago, I think it was on the red carpet for the movie last night. Peyton Reed, I think, is the one who said it. He was like, if 10 years ago you would have said that Thanos was going to be in a movie, I would have been shocked. I would have been shocked. So, I mean, as long as they can get him to work, and from all things that we've seen, Josh Brolin is awesome as Thanos. So as long as he works and the action is fun and there's actually stakes,
right,
I can forgive a few flaws.
Okay.
I can forgive some meh stuff, just like I forgave Guardians of the Galaxy 2 for all of its meh stuff, because I love those characters and I love being in that world. So, unlike another superhero team-up movie that I can't forgive because the world that it created is a bunch of bullshit. Anywho, let's move on. And Maggie, why don't you kick us off with your number 10?
All right. We've got Thor at number 10.
The first Thor. Thor is not on my list.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Fine. I think it's because every time that I watch this movie, or every time I think about this movie, I think it's bad, but every time I watch it, I remember how funny and entertaining it is. Honestly.
Yeah. I really like Kenneth Branagh's direction in the movie, so his Shakespearean nature really lends itself well to Thor and Loki and Asgard and Odin and all that stuff. The reason Thor is not on my list, and Thor is actually, we'll talk about the 8 movies, the bottom 8 later when we're all said and done. But Thor's lower on my list only because I really don't like Natalie Portman.
That's fair.
And I don't like Kat Dennings as Darcy, I believe.
Yeah.
I love Stellan Skarsgård, though. Really, he's great. And obviously, Tom Hiddleston is great. Chris Hemsworth is great. There's a lot I liked. But I actually there's just not enough Asgard in it for me. It was too much on Earth, which I understand for that movie.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it. It's just not top 10 material for me. So my number 10 is Doctor Strange.
I don't think that was.
Well, you should probably find out.
No. Well, no.
It's not in your top 10. Okay, so for me, Doctor Strange is it's what I kind of wanted Thor to be. You're intently looking at me right now.
Sorry.
Doctor Strange is everything with him losing his hands, and then not physically, but just he can't use his hands, is totally believable to me. And then once he goes in to I forget which country it is, but they go and he goes to learn and meets the Ancient One or whatever and starts to learn how to become the sorcerer. Like it's all like really visually stunning and just like it's really interesting to learn like and watch him grow as a character, even in like the short amount of time that you see him learning and stuff. It does feel a bit rushed at points when he's all of a sudden can like fight Caecilius with like no issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
But again, it's like watching him learn all that stuff is kind of what I wish Thor would have been more of, like watching him learning like
be a human?
No, not how to be a human. No, exactly not how to be a human. I would have rather seen him be like the arrogant prick that he was in that movie, but
learning on Asgard.
But learning on Asgard how to not be a jerk. And I understand why it had to be on Earth for what they were trying to set up. But I feel like Thor 2 does, like, even though it's not a great movie, does a better job of like showing Thor be a cocky asshole.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on Asgard, but in a bunch of different planets. So that's why I like Doctor Strange though. And Tilda Swinton is awesome. Yeah. And Chiwetel Ejiofor is like too good for that movie. I always say that. I like it. It's number 10, so it's not like the best thing since sliced bread. It's just a really fun, especially when I was thinking that it was probably going to be Marvel's first like meh movie in a really long time.
Yeah.
It turned out to be super fun. So.
All right, my number 9 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
That is higher on my list.
Higher on your list? Okay.
That's your number 9?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll just talk about it when we get to mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 9 is Ant-Man. That is not in your top 10 either. Okay. Again, it's like the same thing as Doctor Strange. It's like Paul Rudd is so good as Scott Lang, and I love the whole heist aspect of the movie. I don't like Evangeline Lilly.
No.
But she's not really in the movie all that much. But Michael Douglas is great. And even Corey Stoll is a pretty generic villain. Generic. But Paul Rudd and Michael Pena make the movie so much for me.
Yeah.
And
the ending is great.
The ending, yeah. With the, he said yes. Like that whole thing. Like, yeah, like everything with Michael Pena is awesome in the movie. The movie's just really fun. It's just like, especially coming off the heels of Age of Ultron, which is a movie I like, but it just kind of like, it was just fun again. It was a fun Marvel movie, which I had been missing since Guardians was the one before that movie. So I really like Ant-Man. That's just a pure fun superhero movie. All right.
Number 8. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Is my number 8.
Nice.
All right, go ahead. Talk about it.
I really, really like this movie.
Yeah.
It's just so fun and very. I mean, there's definitely some like down parts,
boring parts.
Yeah, not like a lot of boring parts, but there are some. But I think that the whole high school thing is really good and very entertaining. And obviously, Tom Holland is great, and the guy who plays his friend is great.
Yeah, I can't think of his name, but Ned.
Like, and then obviously Michael Keaton is just like
Michael Keaton is
crazy
boss
good
in this
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I just did a Stardust reaction, so follow me on Stardust. Where I basically said Spider-Man Homecoming I like less and less each time I watch it. I'm so sorry. She doesn't want to marry me anymore. No. But I still love it because it's Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character ever. So it's kind of surprising he's this low, but he's in another movie that I have on my list. But yeah, Michael Keaton's great. Like she said, all the acting is top notch. There's just a lot of stuff in it that, like, upon repeat viewings, I just kind of want to get through to get to the Spider-Man-y things. Whereas in movies like Ant-Man, I'm cool with the not Ant-Man parts where it's just Scott Lang. Like,
yeah,
I get kind of.
Ant-Man's a lot shorter though.
It's true. This movie's long.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's long.
That is a problem.
It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, so that is an issue. But all right, let's move on. Unless you have anything else to say about Spider-Man. All right, you're number 7.
No, you're. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We go off at the number 8. Okay, so full disclosure, I made this list like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and since then we have watched every Marvel movie except for we haven't finished Thor, and we're gonna go see Black Panther tomorrow. So I'm gonna make a few adjustments upon rewatching in my brain right now. So my number 7 is Captain America: The First Avenger. No, okay, so
not in my top 10. I love it too. It's a good movie. It's just not in my top 10.
Okay, so Cap is my favorite MCU character, so I think that
really.
Yes, really.
I never knew that.
You never knew that.
I never knew that.
And I just love the way that this movie sort of like built him up as like this idealistic, like very brave, like
very patriotic.
Yeah, seriously though, but like I really like it.
No, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, and I like that it's set in World War II.
Yes,
I like
it's cool.
Haley Atwell's great.
Yes.
And what's his face? Who plays the other generals? Good. I don't remember.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Thank you. And Stanley Tucci is the doctor, even though spoilers, he dies like towards the beginning.
My boy Sebastian Stan.
He's fine. He's okay.
It's one of the best parts of that movie. I've talked about my problems with that movie many a time on this channel and many a time with you in private, and you've yelled at me. I wish that I could see more of Cap killing Nazis. Right. The movie is a flat 2 hours, and I've looked many a time. The credits in this movie are 16 minutes.
They had a lot of
16 minutes.
In order to make Chris Evans
look
small.
And the post-credit scene in this movie is a teaser for the Avengers. So you're telling me that you couldn't have found a way to shave those credits by a few minutes and thrown in another. It doesn't need to be long. I just want another like 3-minute, 4-minute scene of just like another big, intense like raid where he just like goes in and just. But instead they give it to us in a montage, it's a cool montage, but it's a 1.5-minute long montage of him. You don't even see him shooting the people. You just see them walk in and shoot, and then Red Skull going, and then that's just it. That's it for like 1.5 minutes, and it's.
Yeah.
I love the stuff though where before he like goes into the war, when he's like doing the shows or whatever, and it's showing the different cities. Like the
whole part where he's training is just.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Because he's such a lovely person.
He is a lovely person.
Too bad he's no longer Captain America.
We don't need to talk about that here.
He's the Nomad. Hypothetically. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know. All right, so my number 7, we've now hit one that you talked about earlier, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Volume Dos. So I had it higher than you, which is shocking because I think you like this movie more than I do. Yeah. Where did you have it, 9?
Yeah.
Okay, so I love the Guardians. So I think that's like, to me, like the characters are just like, Guardians is one of my favorites, so seeing the second one, even though it has its faults, it's a movie that I love revisiting. It's way too long.
Yeah, so
it's 20-25 minutes too long.
We watched it yesterday. No, 2 days ago.
I passed out.
That was the first time I've seen it all the way through.
Because you fall asleep.
I fall asleep, including the first time we watched it. I fell asleep.
Every time we saw it in the theater, I think I made it through, except for the last, because we saw it like 4 or 5 times in the theater. Yeah. Probably around like the 4th or 5th time, I definitely like dozed off a little bit. But yeah, I like passed out watching it the other day. But it's still a movie that just like little bits of, like I don't like. It's one of those movies where I don't need to sit and watch the entire thing to like feel love for it.
Yeah.
Watching that opening Baby Groot dancing thing is just so good. And I actually didn't really love the soundtrack, the Volume 2 Awesome Mix, the first couple times seeing the movie, but the music has grown on me.
Yeah.
I really like the music in this movie. Like after listening to it a bunch of times, and the whole Yondu, come a little bit, like that.
Yeah, that
whole scene is
so good.
So good, and all the Rocket and Yondu stuff. It's a bit hammy, it's a bit overplayed, but it's good.
I don't know.
And the ending is like.
Yeah, that's like Rocket is like. I know. Today I was listening to the Top 10 show, not to bring them up again, but they were talking about Guardians 2 and how they thought that Rocket was poorly written in this movie. They thought that they don't believe what all the emotions that he's having.
I disagree.
I completely disagree.
I disagree. I think the worst written character in this movie is Drax, actually.
Yeah,
because they
really
overplay him as the comedic. And like in the first one, his comedic timing was so perfect because like you were just learning about how he like doesn't understand sarcasm and nothing goes over his head. He would just catch it. But in this one, it's just he's all comedic relief. And in the first one, he's Drax the Destroyer.
Right.
And in the second one, and in the second one, he literally like kills like the thing at the beginning, like the jumps into it. But otherwise, like I don't think he fights
he is
anything.
Literally the comedic.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything in this movie other than that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still good. Like Batista's good in the movie, but he's just there to be comedic. And Kurt Russell's the boss.
Yeah, I love Kurt.
Kurt Russell is a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the whole dynamic between him and Chris Pratt. Spoiler alert: Ego's his dad. It's not really a spoiler, but their whole thing is I really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. The ending is, again, it's a fun, big action scene, full of CGI, but I think it's done well. It does kind of beat you over the head because it's way too long. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just a fun movie. I enjoy watching it every time. Okay, so that is up to your numero 6.
All right, so I just did some switching around. We were talking, so now I've actually said the right thing on Letterboxd.
Oh boy.
Don't follow me on Letterboxd. Number 6 is Iron Man.
I have that higher.
Okay.
So my number 6 is Captain America: Civil War.
I technically have that higher, but it's number 5.
Okay, well, let's wait then. Oh, but that would be your number.
Yeah, that would be next. Okay.
Hey, okay, so Civil War then is my 6, your 5. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Again,
I just switched it.
A movie I feel like I like more than you do.
It's higher? Okay, honestly, it's because of this last rewatching.
Okay.
Because
I noticed you changed your score on Letterboxd.
I know. Because
you gave it a 4.5 instead of a 4.
Yeah, so I don't know. The first time I saw it, I was pretty disappointed because I mean, like, all the action was great. And, like, I thought the story was good, but I didn't think that there was enough stakes. And I know we can argue about this, and we have in the past, and we don't need to right now.
Yeah.
But then this movie is also super long. So I don't think that I made it through the movie the entire way until this last time we watched it again. And I was really into it, and I was, like, paying close attention. And I don't know, everything just sort of clicked with me this last time that we watched it, and I sort of realized what everyone's been saying about it.
Yeah, that it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I just did a review for it that a whole one person has watched, and it was probably me. So you can check out we reviewed every Marvel movie now.
He did, I did.
Well, you did a few of them. Yeah. The early ones last year. But anyway, I talked about how this is a movie where I actually like more and more each time I revisit it. Because my expectations of it going into it were really high. Probably the highest of any Marvel movie. No, probably more than Infinity War.
Really?
Yeah. I would say. Because with Infinity War, I've been trying to keep myself in check.
I guess. I don't know, I feel like mine.
Because especially after, like, not like other Marvel movies, but movies like The Last Jedi, which are a movie that I liked, my expectations were way too high. Age of Ultron. I like Age of Ultron, but anyway, like Civil War, I went in with really high expectations, and I loved it the first time we saw it. It was just not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's amazing.
Yes.
Scott Lang in this movie is amazing. Hawkeye's drunk the whole movie.
He is.
Jeremy Renner is like drunk off of his ass this whole movie.
Yeah.
I thought that since the first time we saw it. T'Challa is really good. I think he's better in this movie than he is in his own movie, but
I would agree.
Is Black Panther on your list?
It is, but it's not in the top 10.
Well,
it's
not in the top. No. Okay, it's not in mine either. So, I think he's better in this movie than he is in his own solo movie. I like Zemo.
Yeah,
I like him.
I have nothing against him now.
Yeah.
I probably did coming out of it the first time you watched it because I said, who is this? Why is there this external villain? I thought we were going to fucking fight the whole time. But, yeah, no.
Vision's a douche in this movie. The airport scene's amazing. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Okay, so then that's your 5, so we'll go back to my 5, which...
Robert says to check out the chat.
Oh, okay, well, I'll get to that, Robert. So my number 5, which I am gonna think that you have higher, is Thor
It
Ragnarok.
is higher.
Okay, so that's my 5. So then we'll go to your
My 4.
4. Okay.
Winter Soldier. So that's a movie. Also a Captain America movie.
That's higher.
For you? Okay, so
For
we're
me.
not talking about it right now. I'm so sorry.
Wow, Robert, you're so funny.
What did you say?
Ha.
What did I say?
I'm here for the spoiler review of Elektra.
No.
James Carpenter, welcome. Ant-Man and the Wasp. That is the B, I believe, though.
What did he say?
So that movie has not come out yet, but I'm very excited for it. So anywho,
Okay, so
you said your number. I'm sorry.
I
got
said 4
distracted.
was Winter Soldier, and
That's
you said
higher
higher,
for me,
and
so-
you said
So my 4
yeah.
is the first Iron Man, which you had lower.
Yes, I had it at 6.
Okay, so the first Iron Man is a perfect movie. To keep it in perspective, my top 4 are all movies I've given 5 out of 5 perfect reviews to. So my number 4, is Iron Man. I think it's perfect.
Mhm.
I think the setup, the execution, perfect. Jon Favreau directs the shit out of this movie. The action is awesome. The characterization is awesome. This movie isn't afraid to show you things that, especially coming out in 2008,
Yeah.
it shows you some stuff that, like, how old was I when this movie came out? I was 13, almost
Less than that.
13. 2008, I was 13. I was 12.
Yeah.
I was about to be 13. So, to show some of the stuff that they did in this movie was ballsy as hell, and it's just super fun. It's so good,
Mhm.
and Jeff Bridges is awesome as
It's
Obadiah.
before we knew that what the generic Marvel villain was.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As like, if you look at it as like the first MCU movie before, so before anything else, if you take away everything else and you're looking at it as like just another Marvel movie, so it's another like X-Men, like it's another first Spider-Man, it's another Batman Begins. It's just a first movie in a series. It's so good. And there are some people watching this video right now who feel the need to think that Iron Man is not a good movie, and that's fair. But I try to stay fair to people.
Yeah, what you said was not just fair.
No. So that's what I'm getting at, is like, I try to stay fair in the sense that, like, if somebody has a differing opinion than me, I try to respect that opinion and be like, that's what you saw in the movie. Like, you didn't like it. That's cool, man. I just don't understand how anybody who's a fan of superhero movies in general doesn't think that this movie is anything but awesome and perfection.
Yeah. My favorite story to tell about Iron Man is that I remember watching it for the first time at home, and I remember it was like one of the first times that I like said to myself, like, wow, like that was a good movie.
Yep.
Like that was good. Like I remember going to sleep, I had a dream about it, and then I woke up and I watched it again. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I love it. So that's number 4.
That was your 4.
For old Timmy here.
So now my 3.
What was your 4 again?
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, which I have. Okay, so you're 3.
My 3 is Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, which was my 5.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I love this movie so much. It's so good. I'm so sorry. No, it's just so great. It was honestly, like, obviously all of the MCU movies have like comedic tones, and probably the most like comedy one was Ant-Man before this, in terms of like being like a straight comedy.
Guardians.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's okay. It's all right. Language.
Sorry, yeah. I don't know. I just felt like it was really refreshing. Like I felt like it was like Civil War had been like really heavy.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange was whatever it was, and
well, I think it's a different kind of comedy, because like we had Guardians,
right,
which was a very specific James Gunn comedy.
Yeah.
Then you had Spider-Man, which was a different type of comedy. It was like a high school coming of age, John Hughes-esque comedy. And then this was just like something completely different.
Right.
I don't think anyone until seeing the movie realized how funny this thing was going to be, because the reviews were coming out and we were hearing that this is like the funniest Marvel movie and that it's just super, super good and amazing. And it's like the best thing since sliced bread. And it's just like, I can't imagine that Thor 3 is going to be one of the best Marvel movies. And it's in my top 5. So it's super fun.
And it's just like so rewatchable. And
yes. Like, it's insanely rewatchable.
It's kind of long. But I think that how long is it?
It's 2:10.
Yeah, anything over 2 hours I think is too long.
But the credits start at 2 hours. Right. So if you take away the credits, it's like 2 hours.
But like really, there really aren't that many like boring parts. There aren't that many down parts, because all the down parts are filled with like Korg saying random stuff.
Another day, another dog.
So good.
Yeah. It's a movie that is just super, like, I think that's the best way to describe it, that what you said. It's insanely rewatchable. So it's been a long time since a Marvel movie has come out on Blu-ray that I've rewatched as much as Thor Ragnarok. It's just I've watched it a lot since it's come out on Blu-ray, and we only saw it 3 times in the theater.
There's lots of things coming out in November.
There were a lot of things coming out at the time, so we saw it twice opening weekend, and then not again until like right before Star Wars. So we got distracted by that other pile of shit movie that came out in the middle of November. Anywho, it's really good. Yeah. Taika Waititi is a god.
He is so good.
I will watch anything Taika does forever. Yeah. Okay. So that's your number 3. Yeah. My number 3. Here's a hot take. Here's a controversial choice. My number 3 is The Avengers.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait. Talk about it.
I'm gonna have to wait, she says. Okay, my number 2. No, wait.
No, it would be me. Right?
Your number 2.
My number 2 is your number 1, so I don't know.
What's your number 2?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I've got that higher. Yeah. My number 2 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
We can talk about that one.
That was where for you? 4? You are just ridiculous. I tried to start a revolution, but didn't print enough pamphlets. Hardly anybody showed up except for my mom and her boyfriend, who I hate. Thanks, Robert. Yeah. Okay, so Winter Soldier. It was your 4. It was my 2. Winter Soldier. Okay, I'm going to tell a little story.
Oh, Jesus.
It's April 2014. And me and my buddy Mitch go to the local Marcus Cinema. We bought 2 tickets for the Ultra Screen 3D 7 o'clock premiere showing of The Winter Soldier. I was not watching movie trailers at the time because I'm a freak of nature. And so I didn't know jack shit about The Winter Soldier, other than I knew from reading the comics that Bucky is the Winter Soldier, blah, blah, blah. Like, I knew that. But as far as, like, what version of that story they were going to take in this movie, I didn't know. So we got there super early, went in and watched Captain America: The First Avenger, which they were playing as part of a double feature in 3D. Didn't pay for it. I'm very sorry about that, Marcus Theaters. Forgive me. Went in and watched the first one, and I was yet again reminded about how that movie is good, but, you know, whatever. And I was not looking forward to Captain America 2 because, you know, whatever. And the Russo brothers, who the hell are the Russo brothers? Like, I don't know who the Russo brothers are. Yeah. Look up their IMDb. What, they directed Community? Cool. They directed some movie starring Dax Shepard or whatever. Like, I don't know. They haven't done a lot. And then The Winter Soldier's perfect. It's so good. We sat down and we started watching it, and I lost my freaking mind. Yeah. It's not the first scene of the movie, but it's like the second, where he's on the boat and he's just knocking people off with his shield and chucking the shield, and he throws the knife and it catches the guy's hand. And like, Cap is a brutal fighter. Like, he's just like he'll take names. These characters murder people. He's not afraid to kill to get what he needs. Cap, he's so good in this movie. The Russo brothers know how to write and direct Cap better than any other character in the MCU, which is why or who are you texting right now?
Mom.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what at least it's not Robert. They know how to direct Cap better than anybody. Better than Joss Whedon, for sure, because Cap was just blah in the Avengers. He didn't really have, he had a lot to do in the second one, I guess, in Age of Ultron, but nothing spectacular. Russos know how to use Cap, and it was evident in this movie. And they really know how to write and direct Bucky, because Bucky is awesome in this movie. The Winter Soldier, the fight on the bridge between Falcon, Bucky, Cap, and Winter Soldier and all of the goons and everything is my favorite fight scene in the MCU. Every time that scene happens, I lose my mind. It's awesome. Love it. Love it. And Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
What do you gotta say about it?
So again, full disclosure, other than seeing Iron Man, and then I had seen Captain America and I had seen Thor, none of them in the theater. This was the first Marvel movie I saw in theaters. And the only reason I knew it was coming out was because I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they made it very clear that shit was going to get real in Captain America. So I
had to go see it.
I went out and I saw it, and I was definitely very happy that I did.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Maggie, so your number one I have lower than where you have my number one. So your number one's The Avengers?
Yeah.
Okay. And mine, and that's my that's my number 3.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me why it's your number 1?
I don't know, I feel like there are other MCU movies that are definitely better films than this movie, but it is just a wonderful culmination of everything that Phase 1 was building up to, and it was a realization that that this was possible to put so many characters together and have this genre that's always been considered super nerdy. Even all the other Phase 1 movies, I feel obviously they did well, but people still viewed them as this weird corner of people who like superhero movies, and Avengers kind of broke that.
Yeah, other than the Dark Knight making oodles of money, and the first Iron Man made money, and Iron Man 2 made money, and Cap and Thor did good. They didn't do super business or anything.
Yeah.
But other than the Dark Knight and maybe the first and second Raimi Spider-Mans, superhero movies were people saw them, but they weren't big money makers other than those movies I said. Yeah, this movie held the opening weekend record box office for 4 years, or no, 3 years. I'm sorry, 3 years. It was the movie to beat for a long time. And yeah, for good reason. It's a good movie. It's a really fun movie, and that's I love this movie. I love watching it every single time. It's a bit slow. It's long. And it's a bit slow at times. But the payoff is so good.
It is.
It's so fun. And I do see the criticisms where Joss was a TV director, writer, and you can definitely see that bleed through into the Avengers, where the dialogue is very, very TV.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like feature film dialogue, but it works in this world.
Yeah.
It is a bit jarring at first to hear Sam Jackson speak Joss's dialogue when he hadn't been up to that point in the movies. And that goes for every character except for maybe Tony. He probably lends himself to Joss's dialogue the most. But yeah, it's a super. I don't know what we can say.
Avengers.
I don't know what we could say about it.
At this point, it's been chewed through and analyzed so many times.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's super fun. But it's not as fun as Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the best movie in the MCU. It's my number 1. Maggie, you love this movie. Where was it for you?
2.
Oh, well then, okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's great. Guardians is I put out a video last week. I don't remember what I called it. Guardians Changed My Life or something like that. It holds a very special place in my heart as a film fan, but then just if we're talking about just the movie in general, the action is awesome, stellar. Groot taking his entire arm and stretching it out and stabbing it through like eight guys' chests and then whipping them around back and forth and then turning around and smiling is like so perfect. And then Rocket jumping on top of Groot and shooting and shooting the gun everywhere, like perfect. That whole breakout sequence, the dance off, bro, like there's just like so many beautiful moments, like, and like Groot is like the center of a lot of those beautiful moments, like holding his hand out and having the flower come out for the little girl, and then with the lights coming out of his arm and everything. It's visually, it's like the most beautiful MCU movie for sure. The color scheme in the movie is unlike anything else. Maybe Thor Ragnarok fights it a little bit, but at the time, for Marvel's been what's the word? They've been criticized a while. Are you looking at the Thor poster over there?
No, I was looking at trying to see where you had the Guardians poster.
Guardians is right there. Guardians 2 is over there.
Yeah, I
know. Marvel's been criticized a lot for their color palette. It's very gray. All their movies are very gray. They're not very vibrant and colorful, except for Guardians and Thor. But they do have this like gray backdrop to most of their movies, and this one definitely changed that a lot. It's just a beautiful movie, and all of the like Chris Pratt and Zoe Saldana and Dave Bautista are awesome. Vin Diesel, you might not like him, but he is a genius choice to say I am Groot. That's genius. And James Gunn is like, his writing for these characters is perfect. Now you can be like, oh, but he wrote Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2. Well, he wrote this, and this is awesome.
Yeah.
And to the people who, you know, don't like this movie, this is a movie where I would understand if someone didn't like it, because it is very joke over and over and over again. And the villain is kind of meh. Ronan is meh. I like Ronan, but that's because I like have a special place in my heart for Lee Pace. I love Lee Pace.
Oh, because he's in Lord of the Rings.
Well, he's in The Hobbit.
He's in The Hobbit. Just kidding.
But anyway, I love this movie. It's great.
Yeah.
Got nothing to add to that?
The build-up is kind of slow, but there's not a lot you can do about that because they needed to build those characters.
The movie's also a perfect runtime. It's 2 hours flat. Without the credits, it's like an hour 50.
That's pretty good.
It's awesome. Love it. Okay, so just to recap, if I could get my phone to not be a horrible person. I've got from 10 to 1, Doc Strange, Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Guardians 2, Civil War, Ragnarok, Iron Man 1, Avengers, Winter Soldier, Guardians. What do you got?
10 to 1, Thor, Guardians 2, Spider-Man, Captain America, First Avenger, Iron Man, Civil War, Winter Soldier, Thor, Guardians, Avengers.
Yeah, just got to switch that 1 and 2, and then you're perfect. Okay, so yeah, those are our top 10 lists. Very fun. Hopefully, Infinity War will find a way into
number 1. Like, that's what I'm kind of hoping.
I mean, if it's top 5, I'm good. I don't, but that's the thing is, like, I don't see it, like, I don't
beating Guardians for you?
Well, no, it's like, I don't see it beating Guardians for me, but then if it's like, even if it is in my top 5, it's like, that pushes out Ragnarok.
Yes.
Because Ragnarok's at 5, and Ragnarok's awesome, so it's like, where would, and, like, Iron Man in the event, like, we'll have to see, like, honestly, it has to be, like, it's got to be real top-notch for me to put it high up there.
I was kind of surprised how low you had Civil War, to be honest.
At 6?
Yeah.
Ragnarok pushed it out. What can I say? So if we're talking about the other ones, the 11 to 18, quickly going through those, I've got at number 11, Age of Ultron.
And my number 11?
Yeah.
Black Panther.
Okay, see, I got Black Panther at 12.
I have Ant-Man at 12.
I've got First Avenger at 13.
I have Age of Ultron at 13.
I've got Thor 1 at 14.
I have Doc Strange at 14.
Ooh. I've got Thor: Dark World at 15.
Iron Man 3.
Ooh, see, I got that lower. And then I've got Incredible Hulk at 16.
Thor: Dark World 16.
Iron Man 2, 17.
Iron Man 2, 17.
And Iron Man 3, 18.
Incredible Hulk, 18.
Wow. So, yeah, I think we can pretty much agree. Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Thor 2, Iron Man 3. Those are all bottom.
They really are.
Tier movies. They're not bad movies. I think the only.
Iron Man 2's bad.
I struggle to call it bad. I struggle to call any of these movies bad.
It's difficult to watch.
It's one of those movies where I just want to get through it.
Yeah.
I don't hate watching it, but I just want to get through it to get to the next movie.
Yeah, I don't like Incredible Hulk very much. It's very, like...
I honestly feel that way about most of Phase 1 other than the first Iron Man. I just want to get to the Avengers.
Yeah.
So, and just on a side note, Black Panther is like the highest grossing superhero movie of all time. It is the highest rated MCU movie on Rotten Tomatoes. And you have it where? 13?
11.
Oh, 11? I have it at 12. I feel like that's completely fair.
We're not the right demographic.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it's a good movie. It's not a great movie. People need to get their undies out of a bundle.
I'm excited to see it again tomorrow, though.
I'm excited. Yeah, I enjoy watching it. It's fun. It's a good movie. Mm-hmm. It's just not a top superhero movie of all time movie. Jesus. No. All right. Anything else you want to say about Marvel before we head out, Maggie? You got nothing? Well, again, anyway, guys, Infinity War comes out this Friday, April 27th.
If you're not seeing it on Thursday, you're not a real fan. So.
Wow, the shots fired. Shots fired. We will be reviewing it. Well, I will be reviewing it on this channel Thursday morning. You'll have a review from me, so you can see that.
I'll be at work
before you head to the Cineplexes on Thursday night or Friday. Be on the lookout for that review. Totally spoiler free, but we'll do a spoiler review probably Sunday.
Maybe.
Probably Sunday. I'll probably make her do it.
I don't know. We're gonna have time for that.
We'll do a review with Robert. There you go.
Robert's
Plan now.
Home.
No, we'll do it on the interwebs.
Oh.
There you go, Robert. There you go. Make sure you see Avengers this weekend. Don't miss it.
I think he was going to.
Don't miss it there, Robert. So be on the lookout for those reviews. And yeah, be sure to hit that like button and hit subscribe on this video. It helps me out a great deal. And let me know if you like Tim and Maggie talk movies. And if you have an opinion on something, comment below and let us know what we should talk about next.
Any opinion at all, though.
Any opinion at all. We talk about these. We do one of these videos every couple months where it's the two of us. But if you've got a thing you want us to talk about, like maybe you want us to talk about all of the Pixar movies.
We could do that.
We could do that. We could rank those and talk about those or just talk about them in general before Incredibles 2. Or you want us to talk about how horrible the Purge movies are before the Purge comes out.
The Purge universe.
We could talk about the Purge universe. We did a whole episode on the Conjuring universe.
Yeah, but that's like actually universe.
Yeah. So anyway, let us know if you have an idea of something you want us to do in this format where we just kind of sit here and talk live to you guys. That would be awesome. So let us know. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks as always for watching, and until next time, have a good one.